Hello everybody, I know it's been a while since I've cosplayed Mettaton Neo, but I thought now would be a good idea to um kind of make a video for YouTube on the process of all of this. I made a couple TikTok videos while I was doing this, but I thought I would go a little bit more in depth and everything and all that, so I hope you enjoy. So the first thing I started off with was a sketch. Normally, that's something kind of useful to do instead of just having the reference picture, so then maybe you could adjust it to whatever you might have or what you might want to add. It's just something nice to do, I guess, and to like get everything planned out. It's kind of like a blueprint, you know? Um, so then I moved on to actually getting it started with the chest plate, the weapon thing, gun, whatever you want to call it, and also the additional pieces to the boots. I also was trying to like look around and look at all the other stuff, like materials I had to make this with, but I just found what I wanted to use, I guess. I don't know. So, starting off with the chest plate, I had cut out a piece before and it ended up being way too small, so then I had to trace it out onto another piece of this cardstock paper and made a bigger piece, and then I ended up using the smaller piece for the back chest plate. And let's see here, the gun like thing, weapon, whatever you want to call it, I used a like whatever like this is, I just used this like tin can thing, and I like used this plastic egg and just like taped it on there pretty much, and I'll get to the other parts in a moment. But anyway, for the additional pieces for the boots, I just used that same cardstock paper stuff, whatever you want to call it, and I simply just took the same cloth or whatever cloth I had left from making the Mettaton boots, and I just like glued them on, and then I painted the backs of them black, and I think I tried to do, what is it called? Velcro, that's what it is. Tried to use some Velcro, and that didn't end up working, so then in the end I just ended up using duct tape to tape them on, because obviously I wanted to remove them after this. So for the weapon piece, one of the first things, after I got the, like, the plastic egg piece on, is I took some fabric and glued it on to make, like, a handle, and this was the best picture I could take of it, and you're probably wondering, what this white stuff is. Well, that's just fluff that I had glued in around the edges, just so it wouldn't, like, move around as much, so that my hand could, like, stay still, kind of. I don't know if that makes sense, but it probably should. And here you can just see, I just have a picture of the, chest pieces, or, you know, the front plate and the back plate, kind of. You can see this was obviously way too small to be the front piece, so I had to, you know, make it bigger, and I have more pictures with this. So actually, what the like silver piece and like the this entire piece right here, what this piece was made out of was just cardstock, and to get the silver, I actually took a like this big candy bag wrapper and just glued that on, because the inside of it was like silver, and then I just made the outside piece out of plastic and just like glued it on to make it so that it was like 3D. The heart piece was just made out of like the foam paper, whatever that is, and you know, I just painted it, and then I glued it on, like glued the back end so it wasn't like that. Behind it, like on the back though, it isn't really painted, didn't think it would really matter, but I do have a safety pin glued onto it, because so then it doesn't like, I don't know, just so it stays onto my body, kind of, so it's not just like hanging there. I don't know. So now I think is a good time to start talking about the shoulder pieces, which are kind of the start of the show in a way. So what I did with these is I just cut out pieces, or I cut out a piece just like this, and then I traced them and made 4 pieces of the same shape kind of. So I made a front and back piece for this one, then a front and back for the other one. And then I ended up taking cardboard and just kind of like gluing them to the top. And, as you can kind of see, you can kind of guess what I mean. Like, I don't really know how to explain it. This is pretty much just the only way I know how. So after having both the shoulder pieces done, I ended up gluing in the LED lights and also gluing in this hanger wire to get a base for them to kind of put on my shoulders. And here I kind of just have a quick video if it wants to load. Oh, it doesn't want to load. Okay. So here's the video of me just showing how the wire is kind of attached. I just kind of use that same method of having it like kind of glued on with having a piece of like piece of cardboard or cardboard like cardstock paper on it. This piece right here actually I kind of like had to glue some fabric over it because it like hurt my back pretty much. So yeah, once that was done, I ended up actually working on the like spike pieces that are on the shoulder pieces. I just made them out of this simple way of taking cardboard, making it into like circles, and then making them smaller, and just doing that. And then on the top, I just kind of like made a cone out of cardstock, and then I used a lot of hot glue and tape, and then ended up like painting it and everything. And how I was able to kind of get it on the the shoulder pieces. Here I kind of have a picture how I like cut it out and then glued it on that way. This picture pretty much explains that and everything. And so now we're kind of at the point where it got painted, and I also added these gems at the bottom, which I believe I just glued on. Or no, I just used wire. That's what I did. So right now everything's kind of like matte because it doesn't have any like sealant or anything on it. At this point, I believe it did. Yes, it did. And I was just kind of used clothespins to kind of put the fabric on to see how it looked. So obviously you could see here that it's not sewed or anything. I had my grandmother sew the edges so it wasn't fraying at all. These are just some pictures of like kind of the behind the scenes of underneath the shoulder pieces. As you can see, I have the LEDs like taped on. I don't think I glued them actually. I think I taped them on. But I know that the fabric I had glued on and everything very carefully. Yeah, some of the stuff was done very like yeah. So actually this ended up being my second attempt of trying to get the chest plate the uh onto the shoulder pieces. I'll explain my first way here in a moment, but I just ended up using these clothespins and everything and gluing them onto the wire, and this is just kind of like how it looked. I painted part of it pink to kind of blend into the chest plate, and then just the other part of it black so you can't really see it. So before I used the clothespins for attaching the chest plate to the like shoulder pieces, I actually had this thing which I actually had to do a picture of because I didn't have any like good pictures of it in a way. So on one, because we used hanger wire for the to like have like a base to put it on the shoulders actually, and so like the line here is the wire. Here, let me show it this way. Okay, so the line here, that was the wire, and this piece right here was like another piece of like cardstock that I just glued on, like put the wire in between and just glued it on that way. That was about the only way I could figure out how to get the wire attached to the chest plate. Oops. But on the other side, I had to use Velcro, put a piece of Velcro on the wire and put a piece of Velcro on the chest plate. and that was made it easier for me to take the shoulder pieces on and off, but that ended up not working because the Velcro did not want to stick, and I ended up just having to take it off. Oh, and I almost forgot about the back piece, which I had to kind of come up with this contraption kind of thing. This is just where the wire was glued in and everything, but um, I had to glue a stick onto the back because you can see where it was folding a lot and it kept bending whenever I would take it on or off. And so that was just kind of to stop it from bending and possibly cracking any paint. So the wig is nothing really important. I just kind of like styled it this way, in which I kind of just used like clips and hair ties to kind of tie it into each three of the sections. My goodness, I can't speak today. And then I hairsprayed like the crap out of it basically. But aside from all of that, aside from the wig and everything, like for this piece right here, I just kind of like painted this gem black and painted it on there, painted the design and everything. Let's see, what other pictures did I kind of forget about? I had some pieces where I was trying it out, some of that. Also, if you hear a cat meowing, don't mind it. Here was some other pictures where I was just testing out what the cloth would look like against the LEDs and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, I think that pretty much sums up just about everything, really. And so, yeah, that pretty much sums up just about everything in my Mettaton Neo cosplay. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Bye!